President Donald Trump is expected to unveil his infrastructure plan today, one of his biggest campaign promises. It's a promise he reiterated a couple of weeks ago during his State of the Union address.
I'm calling on Congress to produce a bill that generates at least $1.5 trillion for the new infrastructure investment that our country so desperately needs.
A senior administration official says the proposal will have 4 objectives: stimulate $1.5 trillion in new investment in infrastructure, shorten the permitting process to 2 years, invest in rural infrastructure, and improve workforce training. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are still wondering where the money will come from. Over $200 billion would come from direct federal spending. State and local governments are expected to pay the rest. The president is also expected to release his budget plan for the coming year later today.
All right, Pat's back with us now. Pat, President was tweeting earlier this morning, as he is wont to do.
He does, yep.
Saying this is going to be a big week for infrastructure after so stupidly spending $7 trillion in the Middle East. It is now time to start investing in our country.
Well, he's not wrong. I mean, we spent a lot of money overseas over the last 10 years, did not spend a lot of money on infrastructure. This is something that could actually unite Democrats and Republicans. You would think, but nowadays nothing is for sure. Think about this. It's $20 billion, but it sounds like a lot of money, and it really is. But it's not. Minnesota itself has $2 billion that it needs for infrastructure requests, and the states have to pay for it themselves. Mm-hmm. That is something that is really, really different about this. He wants the state and local governments to pay for this, not the federal government, which in the past has done all of the highways, all of the airports, all of this, but now he wants to shift that to the states. So this is something everybody can agree on, but they're not going to agree on this.
They haven't seemed to find anything to agree on.
No, they're not going to agree on this. So.
And then the White House was busy doing damage control on Sunday. Political shows over the president's response to the departure of senior aide Rob Porter and speechwriter David Sorensen, both accused of abusing their former wives, and both have denied these allegations. Now, the president, he tweeted, "People's lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation. Some are true and some false. Is there no such thing as any due process?" Pat, so what do you make of all of this?
Why does the president keep doing this?
Well, the irony is so thick. We're talking about Infrastructure Week. This is what it's going to be. So this is what's going to happen. This is the pattern anyway, that this is going to be Infrastructure Week again. By the way, we already had one a couple of months ago, but the president tends to step on the message by saying things like that. Now, he's not defending he's defending the people in the White House for what appears to be domestic abuse, but not.
He did this with Roy Moore. He did this with Roger Ailes.
So it sets up this idea that the president and the White House will defend abusers, but not the women who are abused. And that is going to be a real big problem. Again, this is Infrastructure Week. Remember, last week was Tax Cut Week, but the president undercut his own message by talking about Democrats who were un-American and treasonous. So what is going to happen is the big question. This is a really tough issue, and the president is said to be very angry about it, but it's unclear as to whether it's about the PR of this, the public relations, or is it about the abusing?
Is there a political calculus to defending these men? I mean, he seems to do it time and time again. I'm just wondering, is there a benefit to his base by having these guys' backs and not believing the women?
Well, it's a really good question because people wonder who he is speaking to. And yeah, he's speaking to his own base, but this hasn't tended to hurt him. So far, it hasn't hurt him. But now there is a movement, the Me Too movement, the women who are marching, and this could have an effect. The polling now looks like he is beginning to lose white women, and that was a really important part of his. And women in general are peeling away from him. So is this the one thing that then turns it against him? They've said this over and over and over again about President Trump, but he continues to persevere and he continues to thrive in the White House.
And it's not just President Trump that people are talking about. Now there is speculation White House Chief of Staff John Kelly will exit the White House in the wake of the Porter allegations because initially he defended him.
That's true, and he now says, Chief of Staff Kelly now says that he didn't have all the information until just very recently, and then it took him 40 minutes to fire him. Now, a lot of people don't believe that because it doesn't reflect the actual reality of the timeline going there. But General Kelly is highly respected. People think he is the adult in the room when it comes to the White House, which some people believe is in chaos. But if General Kelly leaves from the Chief of Staff's office, who is going to take that spot? Who is going to keep the trains running, as they say? Who is going to keep the White House going? That's a really tough issue.
All right, well, Pat, thank you for your insight.
Yeah.